When I say the word pain, what comes to mind? Words like sharp, damage, unpleasant, constant, unbearable? But what about protection, survival, and even healing? Pain is essential to our existence and is, at its core, a response to perceived danger. It is incredibly useful to have a system that motivates us to remove ourselves from situations or activities that may be causing damage to our person. Think of the pain you experience when you grab a pan on the burner that hasn't cooled off. The pain you experience associated with the high temperature motivates you to remove your hand and perhaps give more consideration to the pan's temperature before reaching for it in the future. Pain, however, is also an experience, and like any experience, it is subject to the filters we humans place on it. The severity of our experience of pain depends on the meaning we assign to it. We bring our pasts, our judgments, our stress levels, our contexts, our fears, and our thoughts to every experience of pain. Therefore, no two individuals experience pain in the same way. To understand how our individual brains interpret pain differently, let's take a look at what is happening in the body. Our body is filled with sensors that are capable of sending alarm signals to the brain in response to something, either outside or inside of our body, that is a potential threat to our system. This could be a high temperature, excessive pressure, or an irritating chemical, like an acid. These signals then travel up your nerves, up your spinal cord, and into the brain, the home of conscious awareness. At this point, however, these alarm signals still may not produce a conscious experience of pain. These signals only represent a tiny percentage of the signals traveling to the brain at any given moment. Your brain is then responsible for making sense of all the signals it's receiving and generating an appropriate response. Basically, the brain is taking all of this input and tries to produce a sensible output, and this is where the individuality comes in. As stated earlier, the perception of pain is the brain's way of signaling danger to us, but near endless factors affect the perceived severity of the threat, or even whether or not a threat is perceived at all. Based on individual and contextual factors, the brain can either amplify or tone down the alarm signals, affecting our perception of the situation and experience of pain. Pain, therefore, isn't the direct result of bodily damage, but is a dynamic story created by the brain with the intent of protecting us. To complicate the situation further, the brain is adaptable. It changes itself according to the signals it receives, their type, frequency, and intensity. While this allows us to be ever-learning, ever-growing creatures, it also allows pain to change the brain. Think of a hiking trail. Breaking trail to cut across two switchbacks on one occasion won't leave much of an impression. But if you continue to break trail, the more defined or ingrained that pathway becomes, it becomes easier to find and traverse. A similar process may happen in pain pathways in the brain. The longer and more frequently pain pathways are activated, the easier it becomes to activate them again in the future, resulting in increased pain perception. Fortunately, however, the brain is adaptable, and these pathways need not become permanent fixtures of the brain's trail system. Pain interrupts life. It can be an all-consuming force that seems to steal every thought and every moment. Pain, however, also preserves life. It is the result of our brain concluding we are in danger. It is our brain attempting to protect us. Understanding this concept allows us to then ask why the brain has come to this conclusion, and then partner with the brain in taking steps toward managing the perceived threat and resulting pain.